Hello, everyone. Welcome back to A Turn of Events, where we help put a positive spin on the future of your business. I'm Annette, the CEO and creative director of Naif Productions. We are a strategic event production company based in New York City, but we do events all over the world. We specialize in corporate, social, nonprofit, and weddings. We are doing a ton of events right now, which is so exciting. We have a golf outing next week, and we have a wedding right after that. So we are just really, really excited. So many great things are coming in. If you're looking to do a live or a virtual or hybrid event, we're doing all of that. Mostly everyone is doing live now. Of course, there's a little bit of concern about the new COVID spread that's going around, but we are taking precautions. We're making sure everyone's safe, and we suggest that you do the same. So please reach out. Love to help you. If you have any, we can give you advice. We can help you. Whatever it looks like, we're here for you. If you are a wedding and event planner and you are looking to start your own business, or you're struggling in your current business, we're here for you as well. Join us at Event Planner Society. It's a Facebook group, over 1,500 people in the group who are active and helping each other. And I'm giving tons of great tips, talking about all the things that put together your business and how to do events and all that great stuff. So join us at Event Planner Society, only for wedding and event planners. We love all of our vendors, but it's just to support you. And I do have a coaching program, which I'm happy to talk to you about. If you want to talk to me and you need help getting your business started and or struggling, I've got 30 years in the business, so I think I can help you a little bit here. Okay, great. So my next guest, which I am super excited about, he is a rock star LinkedIn expert. We are going to talk to Scott Aaron, who is an international acclaimed and award-winning online marketer, 3-time best-selling author, top podcaster, and speaker. He is the go-to specialist when it comes to converting traffic, establishing connections, creating income using LinkedIn, and building personal brand. I'm super excited. We're going to talk about how to turn LinkedIn into an income-producing machine for your business. Scott Aaron, welcome.
Annette, honor and privilege to be here, and excited to connect and talk to you and your audience today.
Yes, thank you. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. Scott has so much, oh my gosh, so much great information. I heard him speak, and I was writing notes like crazy because I am all over social media. I unfortunately don't work LinkedIn as much as I should. So, he gives me that kick in the butt that I need to do. So why don't we get started and tell us how you got into LinkedIn?
So it was completely by accident, but I'm a big believer that nothing really happens by accident. Things happen very purposefully. So I was transitioning out of my brick and mortar business. I was a fitness club owner. My family had 3 health clubs. I was a personal trainer and sports nutritionist. And I was kind of just completely physically and emotionally drained from the 5 to 9, not the 9 to 5, the 5 to 9 that I was working. Yeah. And I was trading time for dollars. So I started to shift my business, not completely online, but a portion of it into the online space to start growing some income where I didn't physically have to be there in person.
Yeah.
And it took off. And around 2014, about a year after, I realized that the demographic and the type of people that I wanted to work with and build my organization and team around were not necessarily on Facebook and Instagram. I read an article that basically started talking about the 3 important things when building an online business. And that is age demographic, that is the size of the network that you can grow, and the monetary income level that people make. Mm-hmm. And when I read this, it basically clarified for me what I kind of thought, which Facebook and Instagram, you're only allowed 5,000 friends on Facebook. The average age is 18 to 29, and the yearly income is $30,000 a year or less. So it basically solidified how I was feeling. But, when I looked at the statistics that LinkedIn was holding, where you're allowed 30,000 connections, the average age is 30 to 55, and the yearly income is between $75,000 to $100,000 a year or more, it was one of those light bulb moments where I'm like, you know what? I got to look into this platform.
Yeah.
So I dove in head first. And, I've always been a connector. That's, when you spend over 65,000 hours working with individuals one on one in person, you really get good at listening to people and finding out what their pain points are, what they're struggling with. And I just transferred that onto LinkedIn, and my business began to scale even more. As people started to hear about what I was doing with LinkedIn, people started reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, can you teach me what you're doing?
Right.
I'll pay you." And I'm like, "You'll pay me?" And they were like, "Yeah, I mean, if this is bringing money into your business and you can show me how to bring money into my business using LinkedIn, I will gladly pay you for that." And that was around mid 2014. So it's been about 7.5 years now. And my wife and I have a thriving company. We have wonderful people that work with us and for us, and things are growing and scaling every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that. It does. Social media, it does work. I mean, and I know that I need to get more, into it. So I'm hopefully I can. I just need to, set the plan and do it, because same with Instagram, I, was afraid of doing Instagram and the Instagram stories and all that stuff. I'm not as strategic on it, but, I'm kind of at a place where I'm really lucky that I've been in business long enough now that word of mouth is really where it's at. But
Yeah.
I have I have almost 10,000 people on LinkedIn that I have
Right.
not done, and you were going to kill me for this, but I haven't done anything with it. I mean, we talk, we connect people. I always answer people on my, in the email section or the chat section. I'm
Yep.
always, connecting with people. It's just, it feels very overwhelming. So, but I know it's like a gold mine there. So I probably should do something with it. But hopefully this will give me another kick in the butt. Okay, so who is LinkedIn best for?
Well, I really feel it's for everyone, because if someone is looking to transition in certain industries, you can make that transition with job seekers. If you're someone that is looking to be recruited for a specific position, you can use LinkedIn for that. If you're a sole proprietor and you have a product, a good, or something to offer, the connection base that you've built, you can use LinkedIn for that. If you're a coach and you're looking to gain clientele, it's good for that. If you're a consultant that does some work in the corporate world, it's good for that. So the wonderful thing about LinkedIn, it's a business networking platform. So if you're in business and you know who your ideal client is, you know who your ideal avatar is, and you know the end goal. So what is that end game that you're looking? Are you looking to scale your business? Are you looking to get some speaking gigs? Are you looking to, pick up some more clientele? Then all you have to do is make applicable the ways that you need to leverage and use LinkedIn to have it work for you. So I've worked with people in so many different industries: insurance professionals, financial services, real estate, business coaches, sales teams, individuals that are looking to start a coaching practice. So it is a one size fits all, but you must be strategic and specific in how you use it. So it really is for everybody.
And so we have a lot of, because I own an event business, and I have a group of Facebook wedding and event planners, and a lot of them are starting their businesses. What advice can you give them to, look for clients on LinkedIn? How can they
Well,
find clients on LinkedIn?
it's very, very simple. If they have, and I've worked with event planners as well. So if you have an event planning business and you have a specific niche that you work in. So the event planner that I worked with, she focused on putting together corporate events. That's what she focused on. She didn't do weddings, she didn't do parties.
Good for her.
She focused on large corporate events,
Yeah,
insurance brokerages, financial firms. So that was easy, because
right.
basically I taught her, okay, you're going to go on there. and you're going to put these keywords all throughout your profile. You're going to search and connect for the point of contact, which could be a marketing director within that organization
Right.
that is in control of the events and, who they're actually going to outsource that information to. And
Right.
basically you fill in the gaps from there. So,
Right.
someone that's a wedding planner, you can't really, reach out to people on LinkedIn and say, hey, getting married anytime soon?
Yeah.
So
That's a little
um,
different.
it's more the long game in that sense. So if you
Right.
are putting together, or you do have some sort of event planning that's revolving more around the personal event. And personal event, I mean, it could be you do parties, you do surprise parties, 60th birthdays, you do anniversaries, you do weddings, engagement parties, those types of things. LinkedIn, it's good to build the network around your demographic. So if you look at your clientele base right now and you see that you're doing a lot of work for people that are in that maybe 30 to 40 range, or the 25 to 35 range, and if you look a step deeper, which is really important, figuring out, and if you don't do this, I'm going to suggest you start doing it now. When you are now bringing new clients on without using LinkedIn, find out what your clients do for a living. Find out what their profession is, because then if you're starting to see a reoccurring theme that I work with a lot of doctors,
Right.
I work with a lot of small business owners, whatever it is, you can
Right.
then put that in the search engine in LinkedIn, and you can start connecting with those individuals, not looking to prospect them, but just getting them into your network. Now, for that service provider, that event planner that is providing that more of a personal type of event, you need to go all in with content. And what I mean by content is educating and informing and bringing awareness to the network that you're building around the things that you do. So it's not saying, hey, contact me if you want me to do your next wedding. It's breaking down, as people are maybe getting to that phase in their life and something that they are going to be preparing for, things to look for when you're properly planning a party, or things that maybe
Right.
people don't, or maybe they overlook. So it's more about education and information from that standpoint on the personal side.
Right.
On the business side, yes, you can directly connect with that ideal point of contact, but also providing that relevant, informative, and educational information on the platform.
Right. And another tip is, so if you're looking for corporate clients, there are tons of corporate planners that are on LinkedIn that work for companies that outsource additional help. So
Yes.
you can search for them. You can ask them, I know you have an in-house team, but I've done tons of work for other corporations that have an in-house team. And a lot of times it might just be an assistant that's helping them that doesn't know how to negotiate and how to do searches and how to save them thousands and thousands of dollars like we do. So those are really good things that you want to talk about. So you can find corporations through doing that. And I've done that a lot. I've talked to a lot of planners and searched, and then there was times when I was doing that, and I did. And also consulting. So if on LinkedIn there are jobs, you can go into the job section of LinkedIn, and they do hire planners as consultants or freelance and things like that. So I have gotten work that way through that. So that's really, really great tips, great stuff. So what are common mistakes people make on LinkedIn?
I would say there's a few big mistakes. I would say number one, they're not specific enough with who they're connecting with. So I call it the spray and pray method, where it's this race to 30,000 connections, because people think the more abundant their network is in a very, very short time period, the more successful they're going to become on LinkedIn. So I've grown my network from about 300 to close to 28,000 in the last 3.5, 4 years. But it's been a very strategic uphill climb,
Yeah.
because your connections need to fit into one of two connection buckets. Bucket A is your ideal client. So really defining who's that ideal client, searching and connecting with them. And bucket B is your power partner. So who is that person that's one connection away? So the example I give people is, if personal trainers were your ideal client, your power partner would be a gym owner, because gym owners employ personal trainers, so you can connect and network with them and you can do introductions. So where a lot of people are getting in trouble, they're just hitting that connection button all day long, and they're bringing in all of these people that don't fit into one of those connection buckets, and then they wonder why no one's responding to messages, no one's engaging in content, because they have all the wrong people. So you have to build a network around people that actually see and find value, not only in the content that you're going to produce, but who you are as a business owner. The other big mistake is how people message other individuals. And I think this is probably the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So many people now are using automated systems. So they're hiring marketing companies, or they're attaching some sort of automated software, which both are actually illegal. It goes against the user agreement of LinkedIn. You can get permanently kicked off. And it's happened. I know people that have had their accounts completely wiped out. And
Wow.
the fact is that if you are automating that process, if you are automating the process of human connection, you're not going to win ever, because human connection needs to be built from the ground up. It has to be organic, it has to be genuine and authentic. So a lot of people are using these automated processes that connect and message for them. So people get these robotic messages from robots, expecting people to respond back to that as a human being wanting to talk to a robot, and it never happens. The other thing is, even if someone is organically doing it themselves, people are also doing this selling and pitching aspect, where they're going in for the kill from day one. And now they're doing it so poorly in that aspect. People are putting sales pitch messages when they add a note to a connection request on LinkedIn as well. And no one, and this is the key thing that anyone in any business needs to understand. No one buys anything from anyone that they don't know, they don't like, and they don't trust. No one likes being sold to. No one likes being pitched to. So if you are going to add a note, make sure it's a personal connection that you're sending this person a note to. And if you're going to message people, make sure it's just to connect. Make sure it's to get to know each other, to network offline, not online, and to never sell and pitch. And those are the two biggest problems going on LinkedIn right now.
Right. And I think I remember you saying not to add a note when you're connecting with somebody.
Correct. Yeah. The only time, there's 3 instances where you should actually add a note. So instance number 1 is if you're on this live right now and you happen to be seeing it on LinkedIn, you can send me a connection request on LinkedIn and say, hey, saw you on Annette's LinkedIn live, would love to connect. So you're bridging that gap. You're letting me know exactly how you heard about me,
Right.
or you listened to my podcast, or you read one of my books. You make a personal connection.
Personal connection, right?
The second time is maybe you met someone at a networking event and it's been a while, and you just found out that they were on LinkedIn. So you would say something like, hey, Annette, we met, last year at the blah, blah, blah networking event, would love to connect here on LinkedIn. So again, you're making a personal connection to that person. The other way is if maybe a referral, and this, I get these every week.
Yeah.
Someone sends me a note and says, hey, Scott, I was referred to you by one of your clients, XYZ, and I'm interested in hearing what you do. Again, I'm going to accept all 3 of those connection requests because they've let me know that there's a personal connection already, which means they already know me. So it's going to be easier to build a relationship and a connection with someone that has already heard of me, someone that already knows me, rather than someone that's just blindly sending and adding a note, hoping I accept.
Yeah, such great advice. And I've been using that. One of the main things I remember from when I listened to you is not to do that and just make it more, if I met them somewhere or something, I make it more personal. So I think that's fantastic advice. So you mentioned getting blocked on LinkedIn through your robot situation, but are there other ways you can get blocked on LinkedIn?
Yeah, there's three main ways. Number 1, what I mentioned, if you violate the user agreement. So if you have anyone logging into your account from a different IP address. So there's a lot of people now that try to outsource their social media activity. So they'll give someone in Canada or even a different place in the country where they live to log in, but LinkedIn is actually tracking the IP login addresses now. So if they see the IP address is different from where the person lives, you may get blocked. Or if it's from a different computer, because basically, so people say, well, Scott, what if I'm traveling and I log into LinkedIn? The IP address is directly connected to the piece of software that you're using, i.e. a laptop, a PC, or your phone. Someone else has a different IP address attached to their piece of technology, which again, that will get you blocked off of LinkedIn. The second way is if you do that spray and pray method, because here's what happens. If you connect with the wrong people, you'll see when you get a connection request, it has an accept and ignore.
Right.
Now, if too many people hit the ignore button because they don't really feel a relatable connection to you, they don't really understand, like, why is Annette connecting with me? We have no relatable connection. What she does is completely different from what I do. I don't get it. They're going to hit that ignore button. Now, LinkedIn tracks how many ignores you get from your account. And if it hits a certain threshold, which they don't tell you how many, they can permanently or temporarily disable your account until obviously you abide by what they want you to do, which is to connect to people that you really feel there's a connection there or you do know them.
Yeah.
The third and final way is if you actually abuse the connection requests. So there's been a connection limit put into place for LinkedIn because so many people were using this software that they were sending out 500, 600, 700 connections a day.
That's crazy.
I
How do
know,
you keep
nuts.
up with that? Like,
Exactly, and you don't. It's that race to 30,000.
Right.
So LinkedIn has established a baseline of you cannot exceed 100 connection requests sent per week. That's Monday through Sunday. So you could wait till Sunday, send 100 out, and you're good. It resets on Monday. If you go over that, you'll get slapped on the wrist, a 1-day restriction. If you do it again, it's a 7-day restriction. If you do it again, it's a 30-day restriction. And if you do it a fourth time, it is a permanent restriction that you can never, ever send a connection request ever again. So those are the three big things that you really have to be mindful of. Using the automated software, making sure that you're connecting with the right people, and making sure that you don't exceed that 100 connections sent limit per week.
That's great advice. Is LinkedIn like Facebook and Instagram?
Absolutely not. And the funny thing is, you see people trying to treat it that way.
Yeah.
So you'll see people, the scandalous or cheeky photos that they put on Facebook and Instagram, they're trying to put onto LinkedIn now, so they get a lot of bait engagement. So LinkedIn is a social networking platform. It's for business. It's not for personal. And this is what people are trying to do. They do things for likes. They do things for engagements and views. And you know what? That is vanity metrics. And vanity metrics does not equate to monetary success. Some of the most viewed people on LinkedIn are also some of the most broke people on LinkedIn because everyone is attributing all the engagement they get. Oh, they must be rolling in it. Listen. Success happens behind closed doors, not in front of the front door. Right. So many people get addicted to this engagement game. Like, what can I do now to get a lot of likes and comments and views? Because that's the driving force behind the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram. Now, will you get seen more if you have good engagement on LinkedIn? Absolutely. But I'll tell you this, I could care less how many people like or comment on my stuff on LinkedIn. For me, it's about showing up each day genuinely and authentically. So if you treat Facebook and Instagram like LinkedIn, or you treat LinkedIn like Facebook and Instagram, it's not going to work, except if it's a very value-added piece of content. So if it's something business related, where you actually can take it from Facebook and throw it onto Instagram. Prime example, I do LinkedIn tips of the week. So I educate people on LinkedIn, but if you look at me on Instagram, my handle on Instagram is Scott Aaron LinkedIn. So I will then share that in my stuff on my LinkedIn. I'll also share it on Facebook because that's part of my business and brand, being a LinkedIn educator
Right.
and information center. So do not treat LinkedIn like Facebook and Instagram. It's for business branding, it's for business growth, and it's for business networking.
Yeah, I put I don't share a ton of personal stuff, but when I do, it's only on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, it's only on Instagram, Facebook, and then it goes to, because you can connect it to Twitter as well, which I hardly ever go on. But
Yeah.
I never share that. But I do notice that more people are sharing more personal things on LinkedIn, and I'm hoping that that doesn't, they do something about that.
Well, listen, they're going to. And
Yeah,
because, again, the big driver between LinkedIn and other people's platforms is marketing is still the number one driver of how LinkedIn makes their money. So
right.
they want large organizations, large companies on that platform spending money on LinkedIn ads, not individuals, large companies. And the large companies are, in all honesty, are getting kind of pissed off because they're
Yeah,
seeing all of these amateurs basically posting all these feel good YouTube videos when
yeah.
I don't want to see the cat clicking the typewriter on LinkedIn.
Oh, it's
That's
crazy.
for Reels, that's for TikTok, and that's for Facebook. It's not for
Yeah,
LinkedIn. So
yeah.
they are very present, they are very aware, and they always have the business owners back. So they will have our best interest,
Right.
obviously, first and foremost.
The only thing that I ever post about is, and I do post a lot. We do post a lot on LinkedIn. I need to do more engaging, but I do post a lot. Is if I've been recognized for something last year because of COVID, I was able to keep my business going and educate people and help them. So I got recognized a lot, and I was speaking a lot. So I like to show that, and I think that I think that's the only personal thing, but it was about me and my business, and it was about me. So the business,
100%. That is exactly what you should. Victories are very important when they're
right?
related to business to share.
Yeah,
So I was featured in Digital Marketer magazine
okay,
last month.
that's
Thank
not.
you. And it was shared like 9,000 times.
Yeah, I
So
know, it's awesome.
I took a screenshot of it and I threw it up on LinkedIn because the article was about how to grow your business on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
So it's a humble brag,
it
but it's
is.
all related to business. So it plays as a source of of inspiration and motivation to those people that are looking to achieve certain success in their business as well.
Yeah.
That's an appropriate post for LinkedIn.
I mean, listen, we work really hard, and so when you get recognized, especially by the industry that you're in, that's a big deal. And you should always, it feels weird, bragging, so to speak, about yourself, but you should absolutely, I worked super hard to get where I'm at. So you should, shout it to the mountaintop so they can
Yes.
see, because they're like, oh, she's an expert. People want to see her. People are talking about her and her business. So, I think that's really great. And then you will start to get more people if you are into that liking and wanting to follow you type of thing. That will get people to follow you. So
Yep.
it works. So it can be overwhelming. Where should someone begin on LinkedIn if they're just getting started?
So I would say, outside of the connecting and the messaging and the content creation, is making sure that your profile is set up appropriately.
Yeah,
Because what people don't realize is your profile on LinkedIn serves as the homepage to a website.
yeah,
So when you want people to go to your profile on LinkedIn and see what it is that you do, how you do it, and who you serve.
right.
So if your profile is really just a bunch of dead space or it's just filled out like a resume, how are people going to really get to know you and who you are and obviously how you serve people? So yeah, the obvious things are having the about me section and your experience section and your education, your volunteer experience, but the three areas that people really don't take advantage of are number one, the LinkedIn cover story, your name pronunciation, and your featured content. Now, The LinkedIn cover story is something that you need to utilize through the mobile app. You can't set it up through the PC or desktop version. You have to do it through your phone. And if anyone goes to my profile and you click on my profile picture, you'll see that there's a 30-second introductory video to my profile. So people can click on it and it says, hey, my name's Scott Aaron. I do X, Y, and Z. These are the clients that I serve. If anyone's interested in connecting or talking, send me a message or a connection request and would love to connect with you. Thanks for checking out my profile. So
I'm going to have to add one of those. That's
so
good.
you're creating this customer journey right on your LinkedIn profile. Then there's that name pronunciation where there's a little speaker by the person's name. Now, historically, people have used it to pronounce their name if it's they're not really sure how someone is going to pronounce their name. But you get a 10-second audio clip that you can upload. Again, it must be done through the phone.
Okay.
And it's 10 seconds. So you can say, hey, this is Scott Aaron, LinkedIn expert, coach, trainer, and speaker. Send me a connection request. Send me a message if you'd like to leverage LinkedIn. Boom. 10 seconds. And again, it's a secondary way where people can learn what it is that you do. Below that is the featured content section. And again, all you have to do is hit add profile section and it'll say featured content. And this is where you can feature as many pieces of content as you want, but they show 3 where you can feature your latest LinkedIn Live. You can feature an opt-in page where people can download a free resource. You can feature your website or a booking of a call with you. So again, you're taking people through this journey of who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and your profile is the best way to get started with it.
Yeah. I was laughing because your name, they have this thing out there where people were pronouncing names wrong, and it was Aaron. Did you see for Aaron?
Yeah. No, and that's from Key and Peele too, Ron. So
Yeah. That's so funny. All right. So great. So so what are you working on right now? I know you mentioned a little bit about it, but tell everybody what you are currently working on.
So my wife and I, obviously we have a company together that focuses not just on LinkedIn, but focuses on helping people with their personal branding, their marketing strategy, understanding their niche and their avatar better. And we do help individuals write and self-publish their first book, but also help people launch a successful podcast. So everything is kind of centralized around helping people show up more on whatever social media platform they choose, but basically building the best brick house brand that they can. So we have a 12-month group coaching program. We have one-on-one programs. And we actually even worked with a developer over the last 2 years, and people have always complained that they can't show up enough on social media. So we actually created our own social posting app called BYOB Social, where people can connect up to 5 of their social media platforms: Facebook business page, Facebook groups, Instagram business page, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google My Business, and they can pre-schedule genuine, authentic, and their own content across those 5 platforms that they choose as far ahead as they want. So we allow people.
Is there a fee for that app?
Yeah, it's $49 a month. People can cancel at any time.
How do we get to the app?
You just have to go to the website, which is www.thetimetogroww.com. So all together. And then, thetimetogroww.com.
We'll put the link in the chat.
Yep, and then you'll see right there it says BYOB Social, and that's the name of our application,
Great.
and it's great. I mean, we actually have had it for about a year and a half, but we just took it to market actually last month. So we were only using it for our one-on-one clients, but now we've kind of opened it up for anyone to use because people have been asking.
Good for you. It's a great tool to market across platforms, and not how you can schedule things, right? There's scheduling on that. Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, and there's an inspiration section where if people are kind of stuck, there's over 100,000 different content ideas in there, so people can kind of click on that. It's got almost like a Canva type integration where you can actually create your own content, your own fonts, your own colors. So you can really just sit down for an hour a week and just plan everything out, go theming, and just have a great time and just take that off your plate.
Well, that's awesome. That's really, really great. So do you have I understand you have a free resource for everyone.
Yeah, so anyone that is looking to really get started with their LinkedIn profile, which I stated, if you go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, as soon as you visit the website, you'll see a pop-up that will say download your free profile infograph. And this is a 4-page infograph that goes over most of what we discussed today and how to set up your profile properly to make sure that it is set up the right way, but also it starts to get optimized where you're being seen for who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
That's awesome. And I'm going to tell my assistant who's on here running the chat, shout out to Christy. If you could send me that link, because I want to check my profile and make sure it's set up right. So that's really great. That's really great. I know that you and I mentioned before we got on here, we were talking about going live on LinkedIn, and
Yep.
it took us both over a year. And I do a ton of content on there. My profile's pretty full, with all kinds of resources. They want to have videos and things like that, but they didn't approve me until just a couple weeks ago. So it took over a year. So suggestions on, let's talk just a teeny bit about the video piece of it, because I think that that's a really important piece is to do video. Obviously, they're talking about every platform you should do it,
Yep.
but if we can talk a little bit about that.
So live video is the best kind of video, but yes, there are specific things and requirements that you need to meet to become a LinkedIn Live producer. So I've actually helped people alleviate and streamline the process much quicker than you and I did because I didn't know. So
I know, it's crazy.
what I tell people is if you post 2 native videos per week. So native video is literally you recording from your phone and uploading it right to LinkedIn. And you do it twice a week. You keep the videos between 2 and 5 minutes in length. You educate and inform. You never sell over about a 2-month period. So over 8 weeks, that's 16 videos. I always suggest after those 16 videos have been uploaded, then you can fill out the application to become a LinkedIn Live producer. Now, you may not get it on the first try. I've had a lot of clients that have. It may take 2 or 3 more tries, but you continue that same methodology of uploading 2 native videos. So you don't want to upload YouTube videos to LinkedIn because just like most social media platforms, LinkedIn doesn't want you to leave LinkedIn. So if you upload a YouTube video, they're going to click on that and it's going to take them to YouTube instead of staying on LinkedIn. So they're not going to show it to as many people as you want. Now, maximum length video native is 10 minutes in length. So you can't go over 10 minutes. That's why LinkedIn Live is so impactful because you can go on as long as you want. You could talk for 3 hours if you wanted to. But for those that actually do LinkedIn Live, minimum requirements for a LinkedIn Live is 15 minutes to actually get good traction. So you really want to plan ahead, whether it's an interview or a solo video, plan for at least 15 minutes, but everything that you produce, whether it's native or live, educate, inform, give tips, tangible takeaways, and things that are value added that people can put into their business and get results without having to pay you $1.
Such great advice. Yeah. And I'm excited to be on LinkedIn Live. So thank you, LinkedIn, for letting us join in the party here. I know, exactly. So what do you love most about LinkedIn?
I think it's just the ability to create powerful connections with people that you wouldn't have been able to meet otherwise. And, you know, I'm a big circle of influence type of person. So not saying that there's not good circle of influences on Facebook and Instagram. It's just I'm on there, but it's just not my demographic. My demographic is other thought leaders, other business owners, other people that are growing and scaling their businesses to 7 and 8 figures as Nancy and I are. So I really want to surround myself with those like-minded individuals where we can pick each other's brains. We can really see if there's any holes or gaps or ways to connect or create or collaborate. Because again, Nancy and I, my wife, we follow the teachings of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, which he states, don't live in a world of comparison and competition. Instead, live in a world of creation and collaboration. So, what Nancy and I have found is that LinkedIn is the best way to continue to create and collaborate. And that's why our business and our company has grown the way that it has, because of the ability that LinkedIn allows you to do all of those things.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And I feel exactly the same way. So, on that, thank you so much. We could talk about this for hours, but we both have to go run our businesses. So,
Absolutely.
and other people have to go now get on LinkedIn and start connecting here. So, and so how do we reach you? I know we can get you on your website at scottaaron.net,
Yep.
but your handle on LinkedIn and your social media platforms, why don't you talk about that just for a second?
Yeah, if you just go on LinkedIn and just search Scott Aaron, it's SCOTTAARON. I'll come up. On Instagram, my handle is at Scott Aaron LinkedIn, and I actually have a free LinkedIn community on Facebook. It's actually called LinkedIn Leads for Life. If you just search for that on Facebook, you can request to join. We have close to 3,000 people in this private community where I provide, a couple extra trainings free every single week for people that
Right.
are on Facebook that want to learn specifically about LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's a great group. Well, thank you so much, Scott. It's been great. I know you're very busy, and I'm so honored that you've been on here to teach everyone. So I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, and again, thank you so much for the opportunity to come on here
You're so
today.
welcome. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. We will not be here next week. I have a golf outing, so we're going to be super busy, but we will be back again in a few weeks. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend and get on LinkedIn and start getting some business. See you later.